I have a roundup of some of the most viral TikTok recipes that are not only easy, but also delicious. And I may or may not know that because I might have taken a bite or two. Okay, or 3 already. And you're gonna wanna check out the description for all the official recipes down below, but also you're gonna notice when you're down there that this video is sponsored by my friends at Rocket Money. We're gonna talk a little bit about them later, but first, we're a little hot girl hungry in here, so let's start the snacking. Also, if you wanna see more recipe videos like this, please let me know in the comments, and also thumbs up this video. That's how I know if you actually really like this video or not. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. This dish was the impetus to this video. It's called the Marry Me Chicken. It went viral on TikTok because legend has it, if you make this for someone that you love, as soon as they taste it, they will want to marry you. No, I'm no expert, but I have a feeling that if you need a really good chicken dish in order to have somebody to commit to you, it's probably not the healthiest relationship, but you didn't come here for my couples therapy. So let's talk about the Marry Me Chicken. So for the Marry Me Chicken recipe, you're going to first make your flour mixture, which consists of flour, garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, red pepper flakes, smoked paprika, salt, and pepper. Yeah, I know, it's a lot of seasoning and it doesn't stop there. Next, you're gonna slice your chicken breasts in half so that they're pretty thin. And then you're gonna season your chicken again before dipping it into the flour mixture with the same seasonings to make sure that there is a ton of flavor coated on these bad boys. Then you're gonna smother the chicken breasts in that flour mixture, coating them really well, and place them on medium heat in a skillet with some melted butter. I use butter specifically for this because surely you won't get a proposal without butter. Then you're going to fry these up for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side, and you're gonna use those crispy chicken bits that are left over in the pan, and then toss in some diced onion and garlic, and you're gonna soften those and add in a splash of white wine to cook down for just a few minutes. Then I added sun-dried tomatoes and chicken broth and also heavy cream. Oh, I almost forgot a half cup of grated parmesan as well. And while you're at it, you might as well add in some red pepper flakes and even more Italian seasoning. Once everything is creamy and combined, you're gonna nestle your crispy little chicken breasts into the creamy sauce that you made, and I let this bake in the oven at about 350 degrees for all the flavors to combine. Now the TikToker recommended serve it over rice, but I'm gonna taste it as is because you can really get the full flavor experience. I have hope in what's to come. I mean, it's not divorce me chicken. You know, my mom instilled a deep-rooted fear in me of undercooked chicken. So as an adult, while I know that if you cook chicken to like 165 degrees, it's completely safe and edible and juicy and delicious and tender, I have to go well beyond that. So I think if I had cooked this a little less, it would be a lot more juicy. I also saw that somebody was upset on TikTok because this is supposedly just a Tuscan chicken and it's being ripped off as Marry Me chicken. You say Tuscan, TikTok says Marry Me. I wanted it to be better based on the amount of effort that I put into it. For something that has as many, I think I almost emptied all of my seasoning bottles out on this dish. I expected more from it. This next recipe hooked me because it got 92 million views, first of all, and second of all, it only included about 5 ingredients. So with that kind of crowd support, how could I say no? So here's how to make the viral 92 million viewed TikTok pasta. For this recipe, you're gonna brown some ground beef in a fairly deep pan. That way you can fit all of these amazing ingredients in one pan. And I learned this trick on TikTok. You can actually just drain all the fat from your ground beef right there in the pan by tilting it to one side, letting all the grease drain to the other side, and you just soak it up with a paper towel. How have I lived my whole life without knowing that? Then I seasoned the beef with some Italian seasoning, and then I added in some marinara sauce and combined that all together. And then comes the most delicious part. Add in a block of cream cheese and let all of that just melt down, simmer, and combine on low heat. Once that's all melted down, then you're gonna add in any kind of pasta of your choice and mix that really well. And I added in some chopped spinach as well, just to give me a little bit more vegetables in here. And optionally, you can sprinkle fresh mozzarella on top to make it extra creamy and extra cheesy. And in just 30 minutes, you really do have a very luxe looking viral pasta. With 92 million views, it has to be good, right? My heart is pitter-pattering. Wow. Okay, I make lazy girl pasta all the time with literally just ground beef, onions, pasta sauce, garlic powder, then pasta, and call it a day. And usually the way I elevate my lazy girl pasta is using truffle pasta sauce. However, the added cream cheese element to this makes this restaurant grade, like elevates this to the moon. This is a treat. This feels like you could get this served at a nice restaurant. I've got delivery pasta for like 30 bucks a plate before and cried about it later, whatever. I think this is better than behind that. The other thing that's great about this is it's super affordable. So if you're on a budget, which who isn't these days, this is gonna scratch that itch and make everybody happy in your household. And speaking of budgets, I have been on a major spending freeze. After renovating a house, you've got to tighten things up a little bit, and that is where Rocket Money has really helped figure out how much I can spend and how much I'm not supposed to be spending. Rocket Money is an app where you can create budgets, automatically cancel subscriptions with one click, and just generally manage your money better. So fun fact, before I started using Rocket Money, I was spending $90 a month in subscriptions that I had no idea about. Rocket Money helped me cancel those right away. They actually have a tool in the app that will tell you what your recurring subscriptions are, and it gives you an option right there in the app to cancel them, so you don't have to go to their individual websites to cancel every single subscription. They make it super easy to do that right there inside of Rocket Money. Another cool thing they offer is that they can negotiate your bills for you. So if you upload a copy of your cable bill, your telephone bill, they will contact your provider and see if there's any way that you can get a better deal on what you're currently spending. And that's time you don't have to spend and money that you're going to save. They are known for having one of the best budget assistant features out there, so you can set spending limits in certain categories inside of your budget. And if you are going over your budget, they will send you alerts to tell you to slow your roll down. You don't have money for that. We all need someone kind of babysitting us financially, because sometimes you see things and you just want them despite whether or not you could afford them or not. So that is where Rocket Money's assistant feature comes in handy. I told one of my girlfriends that I was doing this partnership with Rocket Money. She was like, I love Rocket Money. I couldn't even get it out before she was overjoyed that I'm sharing this with you. So if you're in a place in your life where you're ready to take control of your finances and get a little bit more organized with how you're spending, you can go to rocketmoney.com/Erin Robinson and get started for free. You can also even unlock more features with their premium option, which is what I actually currently have. That's rocketmoney.com/Erin Robinson to get started right now, today, for free. Thank you so much to Rocket Money again for sponsoring. All right, I feel like there has been a movement recently of vegetarian chefs trying to recreate vegetables into kind of meat substitutes to kind of give vegetarians that meat fix that they might be missing, which is where this recipe comes into play. This is a cauliflower steak, and it has been blowing up all over TikTok.
This recipe does take a little bit of practice, but you're going to start with one head of cauliflower and you're going to try and slice it into 1-inch slices. Bonus points if you can get them even with each other, which is where a lot of practice comes in, I think. You want the slices to not crumble, but look like steak-like whole slices of cauliflower. Then you're going to make your rub mixture, which consists of olive oil, smoked paprika, pepper, salt, garlic, red pepper flakes, and Parmesan cheese. And you're going to mix that up really well. You guys, this looks so freaking delicious. And then you're going to rub that generously all over your cauliflower steaks, making sure to get it in all the cracks and all the crevices and even on the leftover leaves at the bottom. Then in a pan, you're going to melt some butter again and basically sear these on a medium heat, kind of like you would a steak, for about 5 to 7 minutes on each side. Don't forget, you do need to douse the other side of your cauliflower with your seasoning once you flip it over. And it really is that simple. I will say these do look pretty scrumptious.
Now, right off the bat, visually, this is stimulating. And I love when food looks as good as it tastes. So hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. I have an off and on relationship with cauliflower. There was a time where I loved it so much, but I think I got a little burnt out on just eating roasted cauliflower all the time. And then there was like the cauliflower rice movement, which should have been shut down and all of those people gone to jail, straight to jail, because I hate cauliflower rice. Anyway, I digress. So let's see what she's all about. Cheers. Definitely not a meat substitute in my mind. This recipe is not fooling anyone, but still really good. Cauliflower, when you're cutting it and preparing it, just crumbles under the slightest pressure. Me every year at all-state concert band auditions, playing my little flute. I just don't know if cauliflower needs to be steak in its marketing. I do think all the seasonings and extras give it a unique flavor, like a smoky, savory flavor. So I prefer cooking cauliflower like this. I just don't know if you need to cut it into those thin finicky, challenging little slices. Just cut a head of cauliflower like you would and rub it in these seasonings and you're gonna love it. Next up is the crispy smashed potato salad. So this one's pretty simple to make. I don't know why it is taking me so long to realize that I can make potatoes this way, but now that I have made them, I don't know if I could ever make them any other way.
This recipe is so simple that it's actually kind of scary. You're gonna boil your Yukon Gold tomatoes until they are fork tender. You don't want them to fall apart, but they do need to be pretty soft, because in the next step, you're going to use the bottom of a jar or glass that you have, and you're going to smash each of these down into little piles of potato mulch. They should kind of look like this when you're done. Then you're gonna drizzle these with olive oil and top with some salt and pepper and any seasonings that you have on hand that you like. And then you're gonna pop this back into the oven at around 400 degrees for about 6 to 10 minutes on each side, depending, flipping those halfway through. And while that's happening, you're going to make your sauce of sorts. You're going to mix diced celery, green onion, mayo, and then I also added in a little bit of a dash of my favorite truffle mayo for an extra kick of truffle flavor. And then you're gonna add in a splash of apple cider vinegar, a dash of whole ground mustard for added flavor, and then depending on the size of your potato chunks, you can either chop them up or add them just directly into this potato salad mixture and mix it up really well. And definitely save a few dry potatoes to add on top for garnish. And just like that, it is ready to serve.
Maybe mashed potatoes are on par with how delicious these are, but the soft inside of the crispy, crunchy shell with the drizzle of the seasoning is just so perfect. You can make this with just ketchup. I'm showing my age by raising the roof. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Potato salad has like a weird association in my mind. It's kind of usually something grandmas make at church parties, you know, and you're always like, I don't know who made this. This doesn't have a potato salad vibe to me. It just feels special. It is so deep in its flavor profile. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about. It's deep in its flavor profile. I'm gonna tell you that truff mayo, they make everything better. They are a necessity when it comes to this recipe. I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for impressive looking things that take little to no effort. And this recipe for these Nutella, help me in the comments.
You're gonna pick up some pastry sheets from the frozen section at your grocery store, and you're gonna lay those out on a baking sheet. And then comes the super fun part. You're gonna smear all of that hazelnut goodness all over the bottom of that pastry and making sure to get an even layer of spread going on. And I kind of went super heavy on the Nutella just for fun's sake. And then you're gonna add the second pastry right on top to kind of make a sandwich. And then you're gonna grab your pizza cutter and start slicing small strips. I did some large strips and some small strips to see which ones I liked better. And spoiler, it really doesn't really matter in the end. Then you're gonna twirl each of those strips and then swirl each of those strips almost into a kind of cinnamon roll shape and place those on a baking sheet. Just a heads up, this gets really messy if you use as much Nutella as I did. Then you're going to finish these off by adding a light egg wash to the top, and you're going to pop them in the oven at about 350 degrees for around 10 minutes. And these looked even better than I thought they would. They're perfectly crispy and golden brown.
Visually, very impressive. Effort, very low. So I'm excited to see what they taste like. Oh my gosh. This tastes like I spent hours and hours and hours upon hours making it. I will say I went a little heavy with the Nutella. If you're a Nutella fan, that's not gonna be an issue for you. It tastes like a chocolate croissant, but with Nutella, but also homemade and fresh. Fun fact, I'm not a huge Nutella fan, but there is this nice balance between that hazelnut flavor, which can sometimes be overpowering, and this puff pastry. I mean, puff pastry is the best word of all time, or phrase I should say. I don't want to keep going. I want to stop here because it's just so good right now. The strawberry Agua Fresca came up in my For You page, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is like a common delicacy in Latin America. I've never actually had one before, but they look so good and so perfect, and they're viral, so they must be delicious, right?
For this, I used frozen strawberries because the fresh ones at my grocery store didn't look that great, but you can use either. So you're going to combine your strawberries and a splash of water into a blender, and you're gonna blend that up until you have a mixture that just looks like a strawberry dream. Then you're gonna strain that mixture pretty well before adding in your other ingredients. You're gonna combine in a dash of condensed milk and also regular milk into that strawberry mixture and mix it up really well. I'm also going to blend a few larger chunks of strawberries just to give some texture to this. And then you supposedly have one of the most virally delicious drinks on TikTok. She is stunning.
Apparently there are lots of different versions of this. It's not just strawberries. You can use cinnamon. Let me know in the comments if you have other Agua Fresca options, recommendations. Get it mixed up really well. Ooh, hold on. I think I need to try it one more time. I think I would have blended this with the condensed milk just to make sure it was properly dispersed. I'm getting like clumps of condensed milk. It's like a milkshake meets a slushy. Sometimes milkshake can be just a little too heavy and a little too sweet for me. If I go to somewhere like Sonic, I always get the little minis because I know that's about as much as I can take because it's so sweet. So I feel like this is like a nice option for those of us who want that milkshake vibe, but maybe don't want it to just weigh us down and give us gas for the next 12 hours. It's also so pretty. I want to make like a big container of this and just set it out in the summer next to the pool here at the desert house and just enjoy sipping on this all day. Could use a little alcohol. Did I say alcohol like it was a bad word? Like I have children around. It's just Benji and I'm pretty sure he can handle the word. Truthfully, this viral TikTok recipe, I sought out because I was craving an espresso martini and I know how much bartenders hate making them as a former bartender myself. So I was like, you know what? I need to scratch that itch and TikTok was there to support me in every way.
There are a ton of ways to make this, but I decided to freeze cubes of espresso to kind of keep it slushy and icy, and I didn't have an ice tray on hand, so this is how I makeshifted that. Then you're gonna add in about 2 ounces of your favorite vodka. Having it be a flavored variety really does help add some extra flavor. You're gonna add in a splash of Kahlua, a little bit of ice, and a dash of cream or milk or whatever you have on hand. Then you're going to blend that up until you get that smooth and creamy, icy espresso martini consistency.
Well, I have made a complete mess. Let's just try it and see how it is. I mean, I was a bartender once in my life, so I shouldn't be surprised that I made such a delicious drink. This is gonna be perfect for like a hot summer day. I feel like it might just be a little too chilly for a frosted blended espresso martini. I feel like just a regular espresso martini might do. I didn't realize I could make such a delicious concoction at home. You know, I think when you blend an espresso martini, it does cause the espresso to kind of sink to the bottom, as you can see. You gotta drink this fast to really enjoy it. But if you're in it for a good time and you're ready to just tackle a frozen espresso martini all in kind of one sip, this is really good. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I probably should slow down, but I'm not. I could see why this goes viral. I feel like this is gonna appeal to a lot of people. I'll link my cute little blender down below too. It really did a great job. Again, let me know if you like this concept of me taste testing recipes. I really like it. It just takes me a long time, but I usually find such gems that it's such a worthwhile endeavor. So let me know if you love it in the comments. Also, special thanks again to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to visit rocketmoney.com/Erin Robinson or click the link in my bio.